That's when Michael kind of broke away and started running down the street. The officer gets out of his vehicle and he pursues him. As he's following him, he's shooting at him. And Michael's body jerks as if he was hit. And then he turns around and he put his hands up. And the officer continued to walk up on him and shoot him until he goes all the way down to the ground.
All right, that was some testimony from Tiffany Mitchell, or an account given by Tiffany Mitchell earlier on our own air. Tiffany Mitchell is one of now 3 eyewitnesses who have given their accounts to the press. Tiffany Mitchell, there's of course also Piaget Crenshaw, who saw what happened from a balcony, and then Dorian Johnson. Dorian Johnson, the young man who was walking with Mike Brown when everything went down. And joining me now is Dorian Johnson's lawyer. He's also the former mayor of St. Louis, Freeman Bosley Jr. Good to have you here. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Okay, you've got 3 eyewitnesses now, all right?
Yes.
They have all given fairly similar accounts.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Is it problematic if they keep talking to the media? Does that make it harder to make a case?
Well, yes, in some respects it does, because what happens now when you get in court, basically all your statements, everything that you said, is an open record. So if somebody said the officer said, get out the street, or if the officer said, get on the sidewalk, if you get confused with that, that's an issue. So people have to be careful with what they say.
Okay, so here's my thinking about this. I've covered criminal cases before, and what happens is, if you're talking to someone and as soon as they have their first contact with the prosecutor or the investigator, right, they clam up. Right? Because they don't want to talk to you.
Right.
And every prosecutor says to their witnesses, don't talk to anyone. This prosecutor, in this case, Bob McCullough, who would be prosecuting this case, were to happen, who's leading the investigation, he's not sending that message as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Well, the beauty about this situation is no longer in Bob McCullough's hands. Dorian Johnson, my client, we met with the FBI yesterday at 2 o'clock, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the County Prosecutor's Office, the Police Department, for 3 hours. We didn't stop talking till almost 6 o'clock. So as of yesterday at 6 o'clock, Dorian Johnson is a federal witness now. Right. So this issue now is one that's been taken over by the federal government. But so we don't worry about Bob McCullough anymore.
Well, but here seems to be the problem. As far as I understand the law, the federal government can prosecute for things like hate crimes, but if it's simple murder or assault, right, can the federal government prosecute for that? I mean, my sense is that has to come from the
I think that they will be able to find some angle in which they may be able to proceed with this matter. As a matter of fact, I believe they're going to present this case to a federal grand jury very soon.
What did you make of the St. Louis County Prosecutor Bob McCullough's comments, basically slamming Jay Nixon for the decision he made today to essentially change the scene down here?
Yeah. Well, think about this. The governor is in Jefferson City. That's 137 miles away. What in God's name has gone on here that would cause a man to want to leave the governor's mansion in Jefferson City, handling the affairs at state, to come to Ferguson? Obviously, something terribly has gone wrong here. And I want to commend the governor. We don't always see eye to eye on things, but for him to come forward and do something like this, that lets us know. That's a wake-up call for the people of Ferguson. It's also a wake-up call for St. Louis County and everybody else that's watching this situation. I mean, to break out here with riot gear, with dogs, to shoot people with rubber bullets, to have like military equipment. I mean, you would look and see what was going on here, the way they threw shot tear gas at people. You'd think we're at the Gaza Strip somewhere.
Well, okay, but you were the mayor of St. Louis.
Yes.
And you know what it's like, as few people do, when an incident goes down with the police, where they look to you to have their back, don't they?
Absolutely, that's right.
And so it always seems to be in the situations that politicians are very cross-pressured, because the community is asking for one thing, but at the end of the day, those are the people that work for that chief executive, whether it's the highest office in the land, the attorney general, or whether it's a county executive.
Yeah. Cross pressure is a good word. It's a very good word. And so as a result, a leader has to use what you call a measured response to things. You don't act, it's not like you performing surgery with a meat axe here. The people are upset. Folks are outraged. There's a call for action here, which doesn't necessarily mean you show up in riot gear. That wasn't necessary. And I think that you'll hear it. I don't have to say it. The U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill has said it. Our United States Congressman Bill Clay Jr. has said it. And so nobody prodded them. They looked at it, they got the responses from their staff and other people, and they said, hey, something's wrong with this picture.
As someone who was a mayor here in St. Louis, I mean, how much have things gotten better here in terms of representation, in terms of the kind of racial relations and demographics of the whole metro region?
Things really haven't changed around here. And if you allow me to say this, on behalf of, I know, the African American community and fair-minded white people, we just want to say thank you to you, Msnbc, other people in the national media for bringing attention to our community. For so long, all of this stuff has just been kept quiet. Nobody wanted to talk about it, and you all have pulled the cover off of St. Louis for the whole world to see. And I believe as a result of that, we're going to see some change.
We'll definitely be, we'll keep our eye on this. There's going to be some news tomorrow, I believe. Mr. Bosley, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Stay with us live from Ferguson, Missouri.